Okay, y'all, we gonna talk about SmackDown. It ain't gonna be no big review, but I'm not gonna say SmackDown was just total garbage. You know, I didn't fall asleep on SmackDown like how I fell asleep on Raw. But Jade's like 1 minute promo for that entrance was very unnecessary. I don't know why they're making her do that. You know, Jade is like this super angry heel, not scared of nobody. You know, I don't understand that. Then Julia losing the title is wild. You know, Julia legit is like the best or one of the best women wrestlers in the world. Like, and WWE doesn't know what to do with her. You know, I like Chelsea Green, but at some point, I mean, man, Julia is a world-renowned talent. You know, she might not have the clout yet, but she's really good. She don't hurt people, you know. You know, she does the strong style, but I think, you know, maybe people talk about not talking English, you know, sets you back. But I mean, like, the Great Muta didn't talk English, and a lot of people know who he is, and he's in the Hall of Fame. Then you got Cody and Aleister Black. That match was okay. I ain't gonna lie, that match was okay. I liked Aleister Black versus Dragunov better, but you know, this just proves you don't have to do all that flippy dippy hoorah stuff to be over. Then Drew McIntyre comes back, kicks the ref, claymores the ref, and gets suspended. I'm sick of this. I mean, why couldn't Cody just win this match clean? And then Drew attacks Cody. Like, SmackDown is stupid. Then R-Truth, clown, coon, dumb. You know, I'm so upset with R-Truth. I lost so much respect for R-Truth. Horrible person. You know, to sell out like that and go back to that dumb, idiotic role, then have a nice little run. You know, the beginning segment was dumb. I didn't even watch the MFT match versus what that was, Dragon Lee or whoever that was. Did not watch, or Ray Phoenix or whatever. I didn't watch that bull. No one cares about the MFTs. Dragunov had his match, which was great. That actually was a good match. It was the best match on SmackDown, you know. And I'm skipping over this stuff because it ain't nothing to talk about. Last but not least, you had Charlotte Flair versus Nia Jax. And I like that Lash Legend came in. I don't like that Lash Legend is going to be in a tag team with Nia Jax. But I do like the fact that Nia and Charlotte did they little smack each other thing. Like, people thought there was going to be some tension. Obviously, they know how to play well together, so maybe they squashed their little beef or whatever. You know, I thought that was nice. But if Lash Legend is coming to SmackDown, I'm pretty sure Trick Williams is going to go to SmackDown. Because I think him and Lash Legend, I don't know if they're married or they're just boyfriend and girlfriend. I don't know. But I hate the fact that Lash is being in a tag team. The only reason Lash could be in a tag team is if WWE don't feel like she's there yet with the in-ring stuff. But you put her with Nia Jax. Like, it would make more sense to put her with Julia, someone who has ring awareness and everything. You know, put her with her or make her, you know, I don't know. I wouldn't have put Lash in no tag team. I would have let Lash go out there, get a little win streak, little 5-win streak, something going on. You know, not the tag team. But I ain't gonna lie. Alexa Bliss, Charlotte, and Nia Jax will get her right. They veterans, they'll get it right. People like Bailey, Oscar, they help the new people. They're helping Lyra right now, which Lyra is there. But, I'm not talking too much on the SmackDown review. I mean, it was booty, but it was better than Raw. That's all I got to say. It was better than Raw. So, peace. Okay, so everybody's talking about this. I might have to just throw my little 2 cents on this. So we talking about record low viewership for SmackDown. Under 1 million. This was predicted. A lot of people was predicting, saw the ratings go down, 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 down. And I wonder, I doubt that this has anything to do with this, because the show was garbage. But a lot of people were watching, including myself, was watching SmackDown live through the USA Network app. Now, I think, by it being live and you're watching it through the USA Network app, that still counts as viewership. Now, September 30th was the last day that app worked. Supposedly, the USA Network and Peacock had some kind of deal or something where the USA Network library moved to Peacock. But that live service where the USA Network had like a section of live where you can watch certain stuff live. So they had like 10 or 15 channels that you can watch live in your area, like east west type stuff. So I would actually watch SmackDown live off the USA Network app. Now I have to VPN through Netflix and jump over hurdles and stuff to watch SmackDown on my TV. Now, I'm tech savvy in doing that, but you might have some people that just like, okay, if it ain't coming on the USA Network app and they not paying buku money for cable, they not watching SmackDown. I think that plays a part of it. Of course, Triple K, Triple Fraud, Triple H been booking horrible shows. But then you still have some people that are like big WWE fans that, we watch Raw and SmackDown faithfully. But when you take away, like, at least this part, the USA Network app, now you actually, like, I honestly think that's what got them under 1 million. I think SmackDown was gonna coast probably like over 1 million. I think they can pull 1 million, at least 1 million. But I think taking away that USA Network app, you saw that like 100K, 200K drop off, I'm gonna say this. You probably had about 100K drop off due to that USA Network app. And you probably only had about 50,000 might have dropped off because of Halloween. That's probably accurate. But that USA Network app really had a lot of people watching SmackDown. Not like millions, but I think that might have been floating them right at 100 at a million. They probably had about 800 to 900,000 viewers off of cable and like Netflix. And then you probably had about 100K, maybe 75K right there on the USA Network app. Because I know faithfully I was on that app. And if you didn't have cable, but your grandma had cable, aunt had cable, parents might actually have cable, you could just log in on that USA Network app and boom, you got it. So, SmackDown has been trash too. I mean, you had people tuning out every single week, they cannot watch this, especially when it was 3 hours. Man, that was horrible brain rot to watch SmackDown for 3 hours. Like, you gotta get up and walk away. Like, you can't sit there 3 hours and watch that. Even Raw. Like, if the wrestling itself, decent or a little bit above decent, you couldn't even watch the current state of WWE. The only reason, I think people still watching it ain't for the story. It ain't for the story. It's, man, the wrestling is just a little bit above average. You can't watch you got some indie wrestlers that are okay, but the indies and AEW are super mega flippy dippy. Everybody's Jeff Hardy on steroids in the indies. They're doing too much of hardcore deathmatch. Like, I'm with Jerry the King Lawler on that. The hardcore stuff, the kids kind of like that, but the hardcore for no reason just doesn't make sense. Okay, yeah, you could throw some chairs in there, maybe a table here and there, but when you have 9 table spots for a one-on-one match, it ain't right. Like, at least, I forgot who John Moxley was fighting with, Darby Allin or something. They had a lot of heat with each other. That's why their little death match or whatever they was doing, made sense. But a lot of these wrestlers rely on hardcore to try to get their matches over. You got to look at CM Punk and Drew McIntyre. They didn't have their Hell in a Cell until, months of build-up. Literally months of build-up. They had 3 matches before they even got to that Hell in a Cell. So that's the alternative, is WWE. Trash WWE. Dog water WWE wrestling. So I think SmackDown, you don't get a pass. Your views were going down, but that USA Network app being discontinued hurt them ratings as well. So it is Triple H. Don't get me wrong. It's 90% Triple H's fault. But that 10% going under 1 million, that was definitely part of the USA Network app. And maybe 1% Halloween. But at the same time, it's Halloween. Y'all didn't even have the Wide 6 come out. It's stuff like that. The Wide 6, the most horror, suspenseful team in WWE, don't make an appearance for Halloween. That just shows you Triple H does not know what he's doing. But y'all put in the comments, how many of y'all actually watched SmackDown off the USA Network app? And will Peacock put the USA Network live on Peacock. Y'all let me know.